Hi guys, welcome to RVTM. My name is Richie and in today's reaction video I'm going to continue my October REN specials. And for today's reaction video or today's information video, I'm going to spread awareness for the Wave of Change fundraising for the Sick Boy edition for the Global Lyme Alliance. I did this in my first special video as well in the REN October special videos. And again, the two links that I'm now showing will be in my description of this video. So the Wave of Change is a global project for positive change and it's founded in 2025 and I already did some successful fundraisings. And you can find them on waveofchange.net. And what they are doing this time during the month of October, well, it's all started with when they were watching the REN videos. They wanted to do a global fundraiser for Lyme disease research, honoring REN and empowering Global Lyme Alliance. And the flyer you see, they call it the Sick Boy Edition fundraising to benefit money for the Global Lyme Alliance. And again, this link of this site is in my description. If you want to help spread awareness or even leave a donation for this fundraising, you can find it in the description. Again, I'm not involved in this organization. I'm just helping here to spread awareness, because if we can help even one person with what we are doing, it's all worth it. So about now, and I will leave this in the background during this video so you have something to view instead of me. I'm going to do a tips and an insight video today. And it's basically based on the High REN video on the Sick Boy edition that I was watching and the Troubles song by REN. And I got inspired because I've been bedridden myself. Some of you guys know this already, between 2008 and 2016. And it took many years till 2016 to even get a diagnosis for my physical symptoms. Now, I received so many comments and questions, and I still feel that in all my videos I'm taking quite a long time to explain things on my parallel journey and even give tips, hints and insights to help you. And I get replies enough that you guys said, okay, I watched the whole video and I really liked what you were saying. It was very informative, it helped me. But I still have the feeling they are too long. My videos are too long, and basically people nowadays don't have the time or the energy to watch a half-hour video. And especially if they expect to see something about REN and I'm just here sitting as Richie telling my story. So I will try to keep it way shorter today, but I still want to give you some tips, hints and insights, and hopefully it's all done now in one shorter video that you can watch back if you need some help and insight. Well, basically it's all about a few things today in this video. That is accepting your physical symptoms. It's changing your focus. It's knowing that the past does not equal the future, and knowing that you can't change what's happening to you in life, but you can do and control how you react upon it. So it's based on 4 simple things. And those 4 simple things took me 8 years or even more to get more and more internalized, and I'm still struggling with it. But it helped me a lot during my process of being undiagnosed and being bedridden. And I will share a few things with you. Like some of you know, I wrote this book in Dutch in 2018. And why did I write this book? Well, basically, I finally knew what was going on with me. It had a name. I had severe dysautonomia. It took doctors 8 years with misdiagnosis, leaving me undiagnosed, with delayed diagnosis, medical gaslighting, basically dehumanizing me as a person. There were doctors that even wanted to lock me up because I kept insisting that my symptoms were physical a physical problem, and they were saying you have a mental problem and you don't seem to accept it. So in 2018, 2 years later, then I got my diagnosis by a professor in a hospital in Nijmegen in the Netherlands. I wrote this book basically for myself because I needed to ventilate a lot of my negative energy. I mean, I had so much frustration and almost hate in me because all those doctors and people mistreated me during those 8 years and left me basically on my own. And now, because of this delayed diagnosis, I still was bedridden and probably would never recover again, because the professor told me, the doctor, that I only had 5 or 10% chance to ever walk again. So I wrote this book, and basically, like Ren started his music to, I think, express all his feelings and emotions, to let it out, you know, and not keep it bottled up inside. I wrote this book, but I did it basically for myself. And the fun part is I can even prove it that I wrote this book for myself back then, because I started the book with a quote: "This book is dedicated to all the people that drove me to it and that inspired me to write this book, but probably will never read it." Well, if you write such a quote, I now, years later, understand that I did this with a lot of anger and bitterness inside myself. And I knew I had to get it out of my system. It wasn't helping me. And this is what I want to talk with you. When you are going through a period of chronic illness pain or chronic illness symptoms and no doctor helps you or no therapist is helping you, and in the REN videos, during High REN, during Sick Boy, during Troubles, he so artistically told his story through his music, and he reaches millions of people and they resonate with his story and feel a kind of shared thing, you know. It's, you're not going through this alone anymore. You're heard. Someone is out there that understands you and is doing the word for you. He speaks for you through his music and an artistic way. And I felt so much resonation, and I thought I can maybe reach only a few persons, because I have a very small reaction channel, and I often tell you the YouTube algorithm is a killer for my channel. I will explain it later, but it's all about impressions. And I just don't get any impressions. And if you're not shown, your video doesn't pop up anywhere, how can you reach people? But still, I want to do my thing, giving back. And if I can reach only one person with my story, it's for me enough. Because if we all help one person, then we're on our way. But what I want to share with you is this bitterness, this wrong kind of focus while you are in the process of getting diagnosed, of undiagnosed, and for me even were bedridden. I was laying in my bed for years, couldn't do anything, basically had to crawl on my hands and knees to the toilet. I bumped on my butt downstairs to get some dinner with my children and my wife, my family, and then I was completely worn and dragged and a lack of energy afterwards. So doing that 15 minutes a day was the most I could do. I couldn't even stand on my own 2 feet anymore. And I blamed my body, I blamed my life, I blamed everyone. And I get it, because I was going through this process, in my opinion, all alone and didn't get any help. And again, everything was put between in my mind. So my physical symptoms for all medical doctors were a manifestation of my mental issues. And I was pretty sure, hey man, I got the physical symptoms first. And after months and years of not getting diagnosed, and you feel like you're going to die if you stand up and you can't do anything anymore, and you're basically just vegetating in your bed, yeah, of course you become anxious and bitter and frustrated. I mean, I think it's a logical thing. But somehow I learned it's not helping me. I did everything. I fought everything. I fought my symptoms. I fought to get recognition. I fought to get heard. I fought to survive the day. And suddenly I understood, hey man, if I'm continuing doing this, I'm going to break. Somewhere I'm going to be on the end of the line, you know, I'm done. I can't do this anymore. So when I read a sentence in a book and I heard it say Anthony Robbins saying, I knew was true, and I started to opening up more. And this was, the past does not equal the future. And I've said it in more of my videos, but for me, and you have to trust me, it's been a lifesaver because it opened up so many space again. I was literally stuck in my own body and in my life. I didn't know what to do. I couldn't do anything. I couldn't even move. If I did it was too much. My heart rate went up to 160 beats per minute. I was completely deconditioned. My muscles were a goner. And suddenly I understood, hey man, I have to change my focus. I need to start focusing what I can do and how to live again with what I'm feeling, and not surviving and reminiscing or being frustrated that what I lost, the time I lost, the things I lost with my children because I couldn't be the father or the husband I wanted to be. So I already explained one time, when they came in and waved to me to go to school, I suddenly started to enjoy the fact that I could do this. It took me a lot of energy, but I waved back and I saw the smile on their face, and I suddenly realized that, hey man, I'm still able to do this. I'm still able to see them. I'm still able to enjoy this moment. And I started to enjoy those moments again. And I started to think, what do I like instead of what can't I do anymore? And I knew that I love music, so I started to listen to music again. And sometimes I let myself dragged into a chair, and I start digitalizing my my record collection back then, and I started to upload them later on YouTube because it resonated so much to me with the time I went through. And well, basically I understood at that moment that I started to feel some peace, you know, some acceptance with my symptoms. And this didn't mean that my symptoms went away, not at all, but I started not to fight them anymore. I accepted it, I embraced it as in, okay, this is how it is now. But now again, this is where this line comes in. The past does not equal the future. And I start to think, okay, I know that for 6 or 7 years I was bedridden already, but it doesn't mean that it will change this way. I mean, when I was healthy, I never knew it would change for the worse. From one day to another, I became sick. But I understood, okay, maybe things can change. It can change for the worse, but if it can change for the worse, it as well can change for the better. So I started to get some space again to breathe in that thought. And for me, it opened up the fact that I start to think, okay, if I want to be able to walk again, I need to do something. Because if I stay lying here in bed and doing nothing and vegetate and being frustrated and angry, it won't change. I need to focus my energy on what I can do. So I understood, okay, if I do this 5 times or I wave to my children, my heart rate goes up to 150 beats per minute. So bad was my dysautonomia and my autonomic nervous system. It was completely havoc. It was a goner. So I thought, okay, I need to train myself again. So instead of being angry that I could do this only 2 or 3 times, I started to think, okay, I did it 2 or 3 times. And the day after I started to do it 4 times, if you understand what I mean. And 4 times became 5 and 5 became 10. And I started to think, okay, if I want to walk again, I need to improve my legs. My leg muscles are gone. I had lucifer sticks or something. It was completely gone. So I started to, you know, when you lay flat, you start to do the bicycle moves, which the tread, you know, with your legs. And I was able to do it for seconds, and seconds became 10 seconds and 10 seconds, you name it. So slowly I started to do something with my negative energy for me, not against me. I stopped fighting the whole world and my body. And slowly the voices in my head that were put there by doctors, by other people, by therapists that talked to me that, you know, I had a mental problem, I had a general anxiety disorder, I had this, I had that. And everything was put between my mind. And again, they even wanted to lock me up because I believed that my symptoms were real physical symptoms. I started to forget those words, at least try to put it in the background. I heard them and I thought, like a thought in your mind, like in, oh, I need to go to the toilet, or I need to do this now. Okay, I heard his voices, I heard them, accept them, and I let them go. And I started to do what I can do, because again, what happens to you in life, you can't control. What people say about you, you can't control. But how you deal with this is in your own power. And I started to get my own empowerment back. And that felt, I don't know, very, very relieving. And again, this wasn't an overnight change. It took me months and even years to build that feeling again. Because if you lose something in 5 or 10 or 20 years and it's programmed this in your mind, you can't just shift it in a day. I think it's understandable. So I started to do this, and the shouting voices, the anxiety voices in my head started to become quieter. And then there was this moment that is my angel, my lifesaver. That was this professor, and I read a medical journal article he wrote about dysautonomia. And I already explained it to you when I wrote this article, because I was always reading about medical stuff. I wasn't sitting quietly waiting till something would change. No, I was actively involved, but helping myself, not fighting against everything. And when I read this one, I became, it's like you get goosebumps and you get electrifying feeling in your body. And every cell in my body resonated and thought, this is me, you know. It wasn't shouting anymore. It was coming from deep, softly, and almost gentle. Oh my God, this is me. This is me. This is what I have. And I wrote this professor, and I never expected him to write back, because he was already retired, and his email was under this medical journal article, but it was already 1 or 2 years ago. And I thought, well, maybe it's an old email. He will probably never write back. I don't know if it was my time to finally get help. Again, I didn't get help for 8 years, but the past does not equal the future. This guy helped me. And he said, I think you have dysautonomia. I will set up a meeting with my colleague who took over my work. He will take the time, and we will see what is going on, really going on with you. So after a few weeks, my wife dragged me in the car. It's another story. It wasn't a pretty sight, but okay. I was in a wheelchair. They dragged me in there. And after 90 minutes or something, with some easy test already, this doctor, this specialist told me, I'm 99% sure you have severe dysautonomia. And because of the delayed diagnosis, being 8 years bedridden and everything that went on, I only give you 5 or 10% chance to ever walk again. I got some ANS tests later that confirmed the diagnosis, but we already knew, by the way. And there was no cure, there was no medication, there was no therapy. I could get all kind of experimental medication or therapy, but I had enough of all that stuff. I said, okay, at least I now know what I have, and have validation now for my symptoms. Finally, I know I knew it. I wasn't crazy. And then things started to change, as in the beginning, nothing, because I was still bedridden, and I thought, okay, now I have my validation. Now what do I want? Do I still want to be in bed, or am I going to fight for me now? So I was already doing this and my legs, and trying to do stuff. And then one day, and it again took me weeks and months, I stood up next to my bed for the first time. I was in a lot of pain, chest pains, I'm feeling like heart attacks. Basically unable to stand on my own 2 feet. But I refused now. I was fighting for myself to not crawl on my hands and feet to the toilet again. So I don't know how I made it against the wall and struggling step by step. I made it to the toilet standing up, and I was literally crying and shouting like a little baby, because I thought, no more on my hands and feet now. And this became the way back, and it took years for me to get back to walking, to swimming, what I do now, to be able to visit friends or go to my parents or go out for dinner or concert or whatever, or do something with my kids who only saw me in bed for 8 long years. And I still have severe dysautonomia. Don't ask me how I'm doing it. I don't know, I don't even think about it. I try to use my energy before me. For myself. I'm just not overthinking things. I just feel all the symptoms, but I think, okay, if they would have killed me by now, I would have been dead by now. And maybe I will die tomorrow, but I don't know, because the past does not equal the future, and I can only live in the now. And it's very difficult because, of course, you have anxiety moments that you think, oh my God, what if I'm going to crash again? And I have some moments lately that I feel I'm worse again. But still, I think, okay, stop thinking about it. You're now in the now. You can't change what will happen. I can only act on how I deal with it. And this is what I'm trying to do. And back to the book in the end. And the only thing I still noticed, and that is why I wrote this book back then, is that I still felt I had a lot of things carrying with me in my backpack, negative emotions. And this is why I wrote this book back then and thought, okay, at least I can ventilate everything and then ritually burn the book or something. And what I like about Ren is in his chapters, I did the Ren chapter part 2, I did my first special video on it. He basically reads his story like a book, but for him it's the way he uses his music to, in my case and in my opinion, ventilating and sharing and releasing all the negative energy involved. And because he's so very artistic and so pure and so raw in his expression and in his artistic talent, he now reaches so many people and he can help you, and he helped even me with his way of telling everything. And this is why I want to give back and share this story with you again, because if I can even help one person with my story, with my thoughts, with my insights and my experience, well, it's validating my own journey, like Ren says, and I'm trying to help, like the Ren effect is, the renegades want to be, I guess, to and see it as this fundraising as a wave of change to help each other with our own chronic illness and mental stuff involved. Well guys, this was my personal story and my personal insight on today's Ren special. I hope someone will find my video, because again, the YouTube algorithm is a real mess for me. I sometimes get only 100 or 200 impressions, so how can you ever get any views if you don't get impressions from the whole system? But still, if I can reach one person, okay, it was worth it. I will leave you now with the phrase I will always leave you with, and that is, please stay safe and bye for now.